Hello, I'm Luke Darcy. Welcome to Access All Areas. Well, the round kicked off with an incredible result on Friday night and finished yesterday with the traditional Queen's Birthday clash between the Demons and the Pies, which Collingwood won comfortably. Damien Barrett, as I welcome you on the show last week, the popular theory was that the D's coach, Mark Newell, would be shown the door. We know that the board has stuck with him now. The question I'm asking you is that will he stay there until the end of the season?
Yeah, Das, this footy club is now under the total control of one man. That one man is Peter Jackson, the new CEO. Board members who once had a say at that footy club and have made some pretty poor decisions no longer have that say. Peter Jackson's time frame on the need for change and the decision to make change at that footy club is different to those board members. To get back to the Mark Newell issue, the decision will still be made that he's not there in 2014. It's just a matter of when Peter Jackson wants to pull the trigger on.
So there's no way Mark Newell will be there next year?
Next to no chance.
What would be your gut feel on when he will be shown the door, if that's the case?
I still believe it'll be done. A message will be sent before round 23 of this particular season that he won't be there in 2014. They're already actively looking for a coach for next year. So the time frame on announcing that movement is up to Peter Jackson.
All right, nice work, Damo. The round kicked off on Friday night. Great game between the Blues and the Bombers. And Jared Waite, 7 goals. And he started on Jake Carlisle in fantastic fashion. Carlisle, a lot of people considering as locked in for an All-Australian defender's role, but he got the runaround from Jared Waite, Damo, and his leading and presenting up at the footy was just spectacular.
It was Jared Waite's, was it his best game for the Carlton club?
Just about. And he's a unique forward, Damo, and I think he's a really great athlete for the way he should play forward these days, given the speed the ball comes in. First time you've seen Carlisle exposed, and we know that the move was then made for him to go and play forward in the second half with the most outstanding result. He just looked like a natural forward. He looks like a natural defender, to be honest with you, as well, but not many defenders go forward and perform as well as this. We haven't seen it. I believe he was a junior forward and was recruited as a key forward, but he looked to be just sensational, really turned the game around the second half.
That's just that goal you saw, that's just a footy smarts goal, isn't it? He's just an amazingly talented footballer this year.
And even that smart play on, the vision to know where to go. Now, then he goes back into defence, Damo. We've got 27 seconds left on the clock. Takes the game-saving mark. It was just a spectacular effort from a highly talented young man.
Did that remind you of something quite famous, Das?
Well, it did. I wanted to go back
8 years ago.
2005, and Leo Barry's mark in the grand final, one of the great grand final moments. Leo Barry used star, and it had a bit of that about it, didn't it, Jakey Carlisle? And you can see James Hird. There's the split screen and a bit of similarity there.
Does you take particular interest in the big guys in this game? And I know you followed Hurley closely, you followed Carlisle closely. The switch that was made at half-time, what's your take on what Essendon now needs to do for the rest of this season?
My view is that you would go the reverse. You'd play Carlisle forward, you'd play Hurley in defence. I'm talking 90% of the time. I think what you've got is under pressure or for a bit of an ace up your sleeve, you maybe switch them around. Michael Hurley was an All-Australian defender twice in the under-18 level, never played forward at all. He was a legitimate full-back.
So they've persevered with him as a forward for much of his time at Essendon to this point, haven't they? So you right now, he becomes a permanent centre-back.
And this, to me, is as much about Michael Hurley as it is about Jake Carlisle. And we're underestimating the job that he did on Waite in the second half. He just looks more comfortable as a defender with the injury concerns he's had. Leave Michael Hurley at full-back. Look, you pinch hit him there maybe once a month. And Carlisle, how good is it that you can actually just say, now, go and play the rest of the year as a forward? And that's exactly what I'll be doing. Make the switch now for 90% of the time.
Yeah, we just saw Jared Waite, so I want to just take you through some footage here of him flying early for Mars. It's a technique thing. It works for him at times. On that occasion, it probably didn't. But just take us through what he's doing by flying early.
Look, there'll be people critical of this, and he got his timing wrong a bit at the start. Having said that, he kicked 5 goals in the first half. But he has got the hang time and the ability. It's an underestimated skill, this, to leap early, take your defender out of the contest. And it's a skill that's not practiced. Now, these are the examples that it doesn't work. But often on a lead, he'll launch, he'll hover. It puts the defender's timing all out of whack. He's able to take good contested marks as a result. So keep doing it. Sometimes it doesn't go right, but it's a skill that he's got better than just about anyone else.
Under the pressure of a match situation, Das, skillful players make bad mistakes. I want to show you 3 examples here. Kane Lucas Friday night. How does he miss this goal from 7.5 metres?
Well, they go 5 goals up if he kicks it. That's a game changer. I was here on the Gold Coast, Damo, when Lindsay Thomas ran. You cannot miss the footy from 15 metres out. Just run another 5 metres.
This is the worst of the lot, though, Das. This is a match-winning chance for Lee Montagna. Have a look at the 2 guys in the goal square over the top of the Eagles defender, Revolt and Milne, crying for it. Montagna misses.
One of my favourite players, Joey Montagna. I think he's been a brilliant player and one of the best kicks. You just have to give that handball. That will haunt him for weeks and weeks, particularly when your mates Milne and Rewalt were the ones that you burnt on the last line. I want to talk to you about the Kangas, Damo. You support your side. Their finals chances are absolutely gone this year. Disappointing night for them on the Gold Coast. They really struggled after kicking the first 5 goals of the game. It was just a disaster after that time.
Their finals chances were gone before that match. So I don't think the match loss on the weekend had anything to do with what happens in September for them. But thus, what was the most concerning aspect of that match to me was that this car crash that had been happening with North Melbourne, losing matches in the last quarter, this started happening in the second quarter of this game. They had a half-time break to sort themselves out and couldn't, and that got worse from that point on. That was a bad coaching performance or was a bad playing performance?
But they had some real issues with loose man in defence. Trent McKenzie was the last player on the ground that they would have wanted to be free, and he was free right from quarter time onwards, and that changed the course of the game. So I'm not sure what went wrong. We're led to believe that the players were instructed to make sure it didn't happen, and they didn't. I just reckon they lack some real aggression as a group, which surprises me given their coach Brad Scott and some of the personnel around, and some of their senior leaders was disappointing. You know, Andrew Swallow I really rate as a player, but it just didn't have no impact on the game. Was a really disappointing outcome.
What do they need? Is it leadership or a bit of the Joel Selwood type mongrel? What's more important?
Well, that is leadership to me, probably at its best sometimes, is that when a game is there to be won, pound for pound, talent for talent, at this stage of their development, they're a better side than the Gold Coast. So it just wasn't someone there who decided, you know what, I'm going to make sure with pure aggression that it happens.
Hey, Das, had Jesse White decided to go to Adelaide last year, this whole Kurt Tippett saga may never have been made public. We raise it because Jesse White got back into the team this week for the Swans, and look at this talent that he's got, yet hasn't ever shown consistently. Could he be a wild card?
Well, look at these. Yeah, look at these highlights. I mean, he's a beautiful kick. He's powerful. He's a massive unit. He can play in the ruck. In lots of ways, he is Kurt Tippett without the consistency of doing it. As you said, they're offered pick 23 and Jesse White, Adelaide. They knocked it back. Wow, life could have been different for the Adelaide Crows had they have accepted that deal. But what a talent pool Sydney have got when you can throw in Jesse White. Kurt Tippett is the man that we know is available for selection next time they play. So, yeah, he can play the game. I can't work out why it hasn't happened more often, why Jesse White doesn't play that well with the skill set that he's got.
Who comes out of the team when Tippett does come back in, does?
Look, if everyone was fit and firing, Sam Reid's injured, Mumford's cracked his cheekbone, I'm of the theory, I saw Wayne Carey today and he said, you don't play Tippett straight away. You give him 3 games in the reserve competition.
3 games?
Yeah,
They're paying him $1 million or $800,000.
Yeah, well, he's a player, look, at his best, he's still had form fluctuations, and I think if he goes in, has a poor month, loses confidence, you maybe set him up to fail come finals time with what's happened to him. Without the injuries, I can understand why John Longmire said he'll play because of the injuries they've got, but I would go down the path of playing in the reserves for a few weeks to get his form.
What's happened to the Crows at Amy Park, Dus? It's embarrassing compared with last year. Only lost the 1 of 12 games at that stadium last year. This year, they've won 2 of 6.
It's fallen apart, hasn't it? And look, the man on screen there, Taylor Walker, not playing, Kurt Tippett not there at all. It's a different side that's running around, but nothing like the team that was dominating last year.
Das, mummy here, back line in this second quarter. Watch him run, he does. You highlighted his sprinting technique early in the season, ridiculed him actually, but look at him making the option here.
If a big ruckman power runs like that, you give him the footy under all costs. Look at Big Mummy. He is absolutely cast now. Can't believe that the footy didn't come his way. You've burnt Mummy. When a ruckman runs that hard, Damo, you make sure he gets the footy. Now, here's one I want to run by you as a famous glass wearer yourself and some new specs that you're working at the moment too. Now, here's Mick, turned 60 this year. Hey, where's my glasses? Someone give me, he's on my head. Everyone stopped. This is during the game, mind you. Everyone stopped. The lights are on. Even Andy McKay, the footy manager, is looking for Mick's glasses. I think he just got a little bit wrapped up in himself, Mick, with his lycra top on, some sort of rash vest. He looked a bit like the Blue Wiggle. You're his mate. You sort him out and tell him the rash vest is not what you wear when you're 60.
I think you look pretty sharp. If you're looking half that good at 59...
you're hard hitting. You've just sacked Martin Hill at the start of the show, but you're not going to tell your mate...
I think he looks pretty good in that.
Have you lost your glasses before?
No, they're welded to my head, Dus. These ones, I can't see a thing without them.
All right, that's all we've got time for this week on Access All Areas. We'll be back to our usual time of Monday next week. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you then.